Sure to erupt today hearing on Capitol Hill over exactly what constitutes full-time work. The president seems to think it's 30 hours a week. That's just 6 hours a day, by the way. And since his health care law forces businesses to give insurance to all full-time employees, companies are cutting jobs and slashing hours left and right. Not exactly what our country needs right now, and Congressman Diane Black is leading the fight against the employer mandate. Thank you so much for joining us. What was your main takeaway today?
We had several business owners as well as folks who were in different walks of life. For instance, we had a president of a community college that talked about how this is impacting them, and then ultimately how it's impacting real people's lives. There are people who will have their time cut to get them underneath of the 30 hours. There will be additional expenses to employers and just trying to figure this out human resource-wise. For instance, in those jobs that don't necessarily have a routine amount of hours, such as maybe a physical therapist, where one week you may work 44 hours and the next week you might only work 24 hours.
Yeah.
It will be just a nightmare in keeping track of all of this. We really do have to change this and take it back to the traditional 40-hour work week.
Although proponents of the plan just say, those are evil employers at work, that basically they're just trying to help poor people get, or, people that don't have it, people who can't afford to go out and buy it on their own, health insurance, get more people health insurance. So, it's really up to the employers to then have them work the hours they need them to work. How do you respond?
Look, the employers that were at that meeting today, they all talked about how much they love their employees and they don't want to have to do this. But anytime you put a new burden on an employer, especially a small business owner, as we had before the committee today, you can hear in their voice how distressful this is to them, that they work with folks that they really like and they know and they have a great relationship with. And some of them are already providing insurance, actually. But it's all the other things that go along with that, because when you're considered a full-time worker, there are other benefits that come with that. There are other things that the employer must do to meet all of that criteria. And the sad thing is that this is really going to hurt people who are at the lower income, less education, the younger worker, and in many cases it's going to hurt women. So you talk about a war on women, about 63% of those who are working part-time are those who are female. So this really hurts them as well.
No, in fact, you just quoted numbers out of the Hoover Institute, which is, of course, Stanford University's, economic tower of knowledge, saying the same thing. 60% of people who are impacted by this are between ages 19 and 34. 90% of them don't have a college degree. 600,000 work in the retail trade. Is that who we're really talking about here?
It is. It's in that trade, but it's in others as well. As I've just talked about, as a healthcare professional, I can tell you I know about that intimately because I've worked in that for over 40 years. So you may have people that are like physical therapy assistants, and you have home health workers that don't have a consistent schedule because it's dependent upon where the need is. And that's going to impact them as well.
What's the solution that you're calling for? Is it doing away with the employer mandate? Is it changing the 30-hour rule? I mean, what's the fix now?
Yes, changing the 30-hour rule back to the 40-hour and just getting us back to where we were before we saw all these harmful effects that are taking place from the Obamacare. And we have many, but this is one of those that I think has to be changed immediately to give relief to both the employers and also the employees.
Congressman, thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me today.